This is the 2026 GMC Sierra 2500 HD AT4. Is it worth every penny? Hey everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. I hope you're having a great day. I borrowed this truck from my friends at Mike Morgan Buick GMC in Shreveport, Louisiana. Check out the link down in the description of the video if you want to know more about this truck. And you'll notice, being the AT4 trim level, not only do we have the AT4 badging here on the grille, but you're going to have a bit of a different finish here. So something that can set you apart from other owners out there with their 2500s. That would also include the red recovery hooks that you're going to find here on the front end. You will also have the underbody skid plating. You can see your sensors here across the front end and on the bumper on the rear. And that means you're going to have a lot of great safety features, all those driving aids that so many people are interested in this day and age. Now, you will find your locator lighting, the animated lights. That's what you see right there. And believe it or not, those are extremely bright after dark. I do own a similar truck to this, so I can tell you that that's the case. Now, there is some gloss black here. I tend to not like seeing that finish in this area, although the further down we get, we have a matte finish, but the gloss tends to show more damage. Just one of those things. Full LED lighting, LED fog lights down here on the lower portion of the front end, LED headlights, and LED daytime running lights. There is your HD logo stamped into the front end. This truck will be four-wheel drive, and you will find that you have 20-inch wheels. This truck sits at about 10.12 inches as far as your ride height goes, so it's going to be a little bit higher. Another AT4 logo right there. And as far as the exterior and interior, we're looking at Summit White for the exterior. We're going to have jet black and Kalahari accents for the interior. And one of the conveniences here, push the button right there and you're going to have your power folding mirrors fold in, and then you push it again, they fold out. There is actually a setting in the infotainment screen where you can set that to do that automatically when you lock and unlock the truck. And you can also extend your towing mirrors. The one thing I wish GMC would do as far as standard functions go, this is passive entry right here, the chrome button. You need that on the front and rear door handles. Why not just have it both places? Now, as far as your remote goes, here it is, or the key fob as a lot of people call it. Lock, unlock, remote start, and you have the power down feature for the tailgate. There's your panic button. There is a key located inside of the remote. So if the remote dies, well, no big deal. You can still come right here and unlock the truck. And we'll find that we have the bed step right here. That's going to make it easy to just hop on up here and gain access to the front portion of the bed. If you need to do that, you can see that we have our bed liner right there. The gloss black finish on the wheels. Kind of hard to say if that's a good thing or not. Depends on what kind of off-roading you might do with this truck. Again, gloss black, well, it tends to show damage a little bit more, but that's just one of those things. Be careful when you're out there. Corner steps on the bumper. Again, that's going to make it easier to gain access to the rear portion of the bed. And just as we had, let's go over here on this side where we have a little bit of a shadow to work with. You can see that once again, we have the animation with the lighting. One of my favorite features with this truck is going to be the multi-pro tailgate. It has so many advantages. First of all, you can open it as a conventional style tailgate, but that's not all. Sounds like an infomercial, doesn't it? We can open this area. We can use that as a table or whatever you need to use it for. Here is what I like to call bed extender number one. You can have whatever you're hauling, can butt up against that if it needs to. That's not the only way you can do that, and it's not its primary purpose, but let me show you bed extender number two, which is going to be right here. If you want to use it that way, there's what you can do. Now, while this is ultimately a step, there is one thing that I know with my 2500 that I really love, and that's the fact when you drop that area down, it allows you another option to gain access to the rear area of the bed, to gain access to your 120 volt power outlet. You have a total of 12 tie downs, 6 in the front, 6 in the rear. And the bed liner, that's going to be very helpful. We also have the step. There you go. That's how that's ultimately going to work. Now, it does have the graphite material, kind of like grip tape on a skateboard. And while it's not installed, there's also going to be a handle right here that you can flip up into place and makes it easier to grab onto that to get in and out of the bed of the truck. Now, one thing that makes this truck a little bit different, you may have already seen, it is the long bed version. I don't think I've done but maybe one other in the last few years. And you have the 6.6 gas burning V8 under the hood of this truck. Now that's going to mean you're making 401 horsepower and 464 pounds-feet of torque. It will still be mated to a 10-speed automatic transmission. Your fuel tank size is going to be 36 gallons in capacity. Let's talk about payload and towing. Now there's going to be some differences on this truck from something with the conventional size bed on it. And you're going to find all of your information right here on the sticker. In fact, it gives the exact payload and towing numbers. Hopefully that shows up on the screen. If you're not able to see that, I'll tell you the numbers. We're looking at a max towing with this particular setup and the AT4 trim level of 18,230 pounds. Your payload comes in at 4,001 pounds. And one of the benefits of this truck that I like is all of the different lights on the exterior, on the outside of the mirror, on the inside of the mirror. That's going to help you out after dark. You will also have your cab light up there and your LED in-bed lighting, and that does a really good job of lighting the interior of the bed after dark. That's not all that you have. You'll also have the light right here that helps to illuminate this area when you're going to hitch up to a trailer. And there is an outrageous amount of space in the interior everywhere we look. Plenty of room with the armrest, plenty of room with the door bin. And one of my favorite features is the in-seat storage that these trucks come with, whether it's a Chevrolet or a GMC like this. When you go with a high enough trim level, you will find the in-seat storage. It's going to be on each side. I like that. That works really well. You will also find the under-seat storage where you find the tools for changing your tire. The jack and everything will be over there on the passenger side. And you do have a spare tire located underneath the truck. You can see the rear seat pockets on the back of each seat, and I'm going to use the grab handle to get in. I like that there's a grab handle at every single door. Not every vehicle has that as far as trucks or SUVs go, so that's a good thing. Tons of cup holders. Cup holders in the door bins, on the rear of the center console, and also here with the fold-down armrest. So if anybody goes thirsty, it's not because there is no place to store things to drink inside of the interior of this truck. You have your rear window defogger, the power sliding rear window, and back to the rear of the center console, we're looking at the buttons for the heated seats. We have our USB ports and the air conditioning vents. Now, this particular truck was not optioned with a sunroof. So if you don't want the sunroof, you don't have to go with that. I know some people don't like that. When I ordered my personal GMC 2500, I opted to go without the sunroof. And I know a lot of you want to know what the sticker price is. If you stuck around to this point in the video and you see somebody asking what the price is in the comments section, tell them to watch the video. It's $79,310. Let's see what else you get for that price. Now, the driver and passenger seats are fully adjustable, power adjustable, with lumbar support. That's something that I know is important to a lot of you. So that's going to be with the driver and the passenger seat. There is the lower glove box. There's the glove box, upper glove box, plenty of space. Again, large armrests and door bins, just like we had in the rear. And here is our upper console. Now, one thing I really like here is that unlike with the 2025 and 2026 GMC Yukons, you still have your home link as physical buttons. It's not in the screen. I'm sure that's going to happen in the future with these trucks at some point. I'm not a fan of that personally, but that's the case. Here is the control for your power sliding rear window, and you have your rear view camera mirror. If you want that on, well, you can do it that way, or you can use it the conventional way, whatever you want to do. It does take a little bit of getting used to. You can adjust everything via the controls over here and all that good stuff. So depending on what you need to do, you can make adjustments to height and all of that. Now, over here on the driver's side door, we have seat memory. At this price point, it should be on the passenger side too, but it's not. Controls for your side view mirrors, you know some of what's there. We've got our controls for our windows, lock and unlock, all that good stuff. Power parking brake right there. And here's your drive mode selector. Everything for your exterior lighting is here as well. There's where you turn your cab light on and the other exterior lights that I showed you earlier in the video. Now, I talked about driving modes. Let's see exactly what those are. Now, you're going to have normal, off-road, that's it. That's all you've got. But for those who want to customize your driver's display, you can do that. I'm going to use these arrows right here. You can use either one to work your way through until you get to this screen. You can see display layout, and you have several different presets depending on what you want to do. So you can go with digital, you can go with progressive, whatever it is you want. We're going to go back up here to progressive, and all I'm doing to select that is pushing the scroll wheel right there, and that allows me to select the changes. Now, you can actually do more than that. You can customize the left side, the right side, the lower gauges. As you can see right there, it's going to highlight the area, info pages, units, all of that is here. So a lot of customization. I've had people ask me, how do you get rid of the image of the truck right there? You can do that by going to the right side display and making your adjustments. And you'll have everything here for your adaptive cruise control. And then on the rear of the steering wheel over here, this is how you adjust the volume. Over there on the left hand side, you can adjust what you're listening to. And something here that's complicated for a lot of people, when you push it into the up position, you're going to see an arrow pointing to the right that's flashing. And then when you push it into the down position, it's pointing to the left. What is that? That's called your turn signal indicator stalk. You can actually use your blinkers and let people around you on the road know what you're doing before you do it. I know that's a novel thought for a lot of people, but there is no Surgeon General's warning on there that says using your turn signals is hazardous to your health. Now, we have the shifter right here, the column shifter, and I've had a lot of people tell me that it gets in the way of the driver's display. Well, it depends on how your seat is set. I know in my particular truck, the way everything is set, it's not really a problem for me, but you need to check that out for yourself to see, but I don't think that'll be a big deal for most people. Now, you have a manually adjustable steering wheel. It's not power adjustable, but you can tilt and telescopically adjust the steering wheel with that lever. One of my favorite features is the center screen, and people have asked me, how can you get rid of what is over here? Well, you can't. That would be kind of nice if you could just have everything on this side take up the entirety of the screen, but you can't adjust what's on the screen. So all you're going to do is basically go through the different options right there. We'll let everything come up and you can see what all is there, but you will leave it on something because that's just how it's set up. I didn't talk about it earlier in the video, but there is our front camera. The front view camera, if you bring that up, or if it's cold during the winter, or it could even happen during the summer, depending on if there's something on the front view camera, you'll get a message up here that says that it needs to be cleaned. How do you do that? Well, you push the button right here. That runs your windshield washer fluid, but when you do that, it also sprays windshield washer fluid across the front camera. That's your front camera washer. Now, other views, you have your overhead view. You'll see your two dots right here that let you know that you have two different views. So there's the rear view in addition to the front view. We also have our overhead views, depending on what you need to see. If you're needing to see what's overhead a little bit closer, you can do that right there, or it makes it easier to back up to a trailer in the rear. Your side view mirror cameras will also have the view over the trailer hitch. And you have your bed view. So that I touched the arrow right there to bring that up. If you want to zoom in and see if someone's sleeping in the bed, if you happen to have someone back there and you want to know who it is, you can zoom in and identify them. And there we go. We can go back to our main screen that way. And there you go. Pretty easy to deal with. Wireless capabilities for pairing your smartphone with Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. You have the Play Store and Google Assistant. You can say, hey, you know who. I'm not going to say it because I'll set off devices in your house, but you can ask practically endless questions. You can even set up navigation with voice commands. Easy to deal with. Everything for trailering, your climate control, which, by the way, there are physical controls for your climate right here. I'm very happy about that instead of having that all in the screen. But a couple of things I mentioned earlier in the video that I want to go over here with you. We're going to go into settings and then vehicle, and then we'll go right down here to collision and detection systems, and we'll tell you what you have here. You've got automatic emergency braking, front pedestrian braking, adaptive cruise go notifier, lane change alert, park assist tow bar, and rear cross traffic alert. Now, one other thing. We're going to go to comfort and convenience right here, and remote mirror folding. Notice that that's grayed out right there. If you see that green check mark, that means that when you lock the truck, the mirrors automatically fold in. When you unlock the truck, they automatically fold back out. Just so you can see a little bit of what's there. I told you about that feature. Now you know how to use it. And everything here for your dual zone climate control. If you need to sync both sides together, you can do that. You will have your heated, that we do not need today, seats, ventilated seats. We can definitely do that for the driver and the passenger. You'll also find your heated steering wheel, which once again, we don't need that. I'm still waiting for a manufacturer to come out with a ventilated steering wheel. That would be wonderful. Now, one thing about this being an HD truck is that you will not find anywhere here the button to turn off the auto stop start feature. That's because it's not here. You don't have the auto stop start. A lot of people are going to give a thumbs up on that, but you can see some of your controls here as far as what you can turn on and off. You can open your tailgate, turn your traction control off, hazard light button, all of that is here. And you will find space right here, a couple of USB ports, your cup holders. Here's everything for adjusting the trailer brakes, and a ton of space with the lid for the center console. Your AT4 logo is there. This doubles as an armrest, by the way. Now, inside of the center console, you've got the tray, but that is removable, so you don't have to worry about that. That's not all the space that you have. Plenty of space within. Another 120 volt power outlet and a couple more USB ports. The one thing that is surprisingly missing from the interior of this truck is that there is no 12 volt power outlet. Just the direction GMC has gone. Like I told you, I own a truck similar to this. I had to buy a USB to 12 volt adapter so that I could use my dash cam. So that kind of technology is out there if you need it, in case you're curious. All right, here we go on the test drive, and a very versatile truck in a multitude of ways. You can obviously haul the family around with it. You can also haul a gooseneck trailer, a bumper hitch, whatever you need to do, you can do it all. And the truck really does a great job of getting those things done. Now, I'm not going to tell you that it's the smoothest riding truck on the road. However, it actually does ride decently well for what it is, and it has good acceleration capabilities when you need that. And you get to see somebody who wanted to have a good close-up look at the front end of that 18-wheeler we just passed right there, as they took a kamikaze driving experience, pulling right in front of that 18-wheeler instead of waiting a few seconds. Interesting what you see on these test drives. This truck, as big as it is, when you need to get up and go, it will definitely do that. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be able to get up and go, because now I have somebody in front of me who's a little bit on the slow side. Maybe they're pulling over so we can go around them. I think that's what they're doing. So let's go on around. There we go. Now, as far as overall comfort with the seats themselves, very comfortable, very adjustable. You have a ton of adjustability space here when it comes to the seat and the steering wheel, so it really doesn't matter what your height is. You should be able to set everything up where you're nice and comfortable. A long road trip will be enjoyable because of that. And so that's a good thing. And whether you're sitting in the front seat or the back seat, there is so much space. A lot of vehicles don't have near as much back seat legroom space as this truck does. No shortage of space and easy to learn and use technology. You also don't have to worry about a difficult to learn and adjust to gas pedal or brake pedal. Everything works well. And one thing I didn't talk about with your side view mirrors, obviously they're power adjustable, but one thing to note about that is that the larger portion, that top area of the mirror, is power adjustable, but the bottom portion, you'll have to adjust that manually. Just something to keep in mind. That's just the way it works here. But overall, a really good truck. One thing I did not talk about earlier in the video, I forgot to mention it, but it's here. The head-up display, the controls for that were above the controls for the headlights and the driving modes. A lot of you probably saw that. You can adjust the height, the information, and the brightness. So a little bit of everything is here. You definitely will be paying a little bit, the price being upwards of $80,000, but you get a lot for that price, that's for sure. And for those that may have skipped around in the video, in case you're wondering, no, there are no changes to this truck for 2026. I showed the window sticker, or I will show the window sticker in the outro, because somebody is probably going to say that it's not really a 2026, it's a 2025, but there's no difference. So you really won't necessarily know the difference with whether or not it is, unless you look at the window sticker. And by the way, in case anybody says, that's not a 2026, well, there you go. You can see it on the window sticker. It is a 2026. Now, there are no changes for 2026 to these trucks. But for those of you that are looking for one, now you have the details. You know that if you want it, you can go with the long bed. Tell me what you think. Is it worth every penny? I'd say it is, especially for those of us who are looking for something like this. Get what you want. That's why I went with the SLT with the conventional size bed on it. I didn't need the long bed, but this will do the job for those of you that do. A very versatile truck in a lot of ways, and a lot of very conventional, or should I say luxurious features, and some that are conventional as well. So I hope you like the truck. Tell me what you think down in the comments section. I'd like to say a special thanks to my friends at Mike Morgan Buick GMC in Shreveport, Louisiana for loaning me this truck for the day so I could tell you all about it. And a special thanks to all of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit the like button. That's very helpful to me. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future videos, and share this video on your timelines on social media. If you'd like to learn about additional vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I'll see you there.